I flew on Delta's Boeing 717-200. This flight took me from Atlanta, Georgia down to Destin Fort-Walton Beach and was the second of 2 flights taking me to Florida. This is also my second time ever flying the 717, and I'm interested to see if this flight differs from my other one over a year ago. The 717 is quite the interesting airplane. Originally designed by McDonnell Douglas as the MD-95, the 717 is essentially a modern DC-9. Both aircraft have the same airframe. Basically, the only difference is that the 717 has newer Rolls-Royce engines and modern avionics. Only 156 of these were ever built, making the 717 really rare today, with the only operators currently being Hawaiian Airlines and of course Delta. I always look forward to flying this aircraft. It's one of my favorite airliners and the only easily accessible way to fly a Mad Dog airliner today. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Good morning from Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. My name is Tomcat1226 and welcome back to the channel. I just arrived here aboard Delta's Airbus A321-200 and it was quite the enjoyable experience for my first ever Airbus flight. Now it's time to fly aboard a much different kind of aircraft, smaller, but arguably one of the best aircraft joyrides, the Boeing 717. I've flown this aircraft once before, from Chicago O'Hare to Twin Cities, Minnesota, and that flight was booked just to fly the 717. That is because the aircraft was scheduled to be retired from Delta's fleet by December 2025. However, since then it's been pushed back due to delayed delivery of its replacement, the Airbus A220s. Now that retirement is leaning toward late 2029 or even early 2030. I really hope to see this aircraft fly as long as possible, as it is the last Mad Dog aircraft still out there, the youngest descendant of the famous Douglas DC-9. Fun fact, the DC-9s and MD-80s are called Mad Dogs due to their very loud engines and very steep climb angle. The 717 sometimes climbs at a staggering 22 degrees.
The next stop is for E-Gate, as in Eglin.
Moving on, after catching a ride on the underground plane train, I made my way to Concourse D, which is surprisingly easy to navigate for being such a busy airport. My gate today is D26, which unfortunately doesn't have windows. However, waiting here is my Mad Dog ride to Destin, registered as November 980 Alpha Tango, is a Boeing 717-200 that originally started its life with AirTran Airways before being transferred to Delta's fleet following the merger in 2014. Delta is currently the largest operator of the Boeing 717, with 80 in their fleet as of uploading. For today's flight operating as Delta DL-3092, I'll be flying in economy, or as Delta likes to call it, main cabin, on the way back of the airplane, for one main reason you'll see once I get to my seat. However, things did not go to plan. First I got delayed 20 minutes, then an hour. The gate agent told us that our plane was needed at another gate, and I actually spotted it a few gates down the concourse. Things wouldn't get much better, as the delay was bumped back another hour, now 2 hours and 20 minutes behind scheduled departure time. This was due to our replacement aircraft being delayed on its oncoming flight from Louisville due to severe thunderstorms there. However, I didn't waste my time and took advantage of the non-stop Atlanta traffic. Enjoy this short compilation of some plane spotting during the Atlanta afternoon rush. Full video is now out on my channel. After that extended layover, our oncoming flight finally arrived at the gate. Registered as November 993 Alpha Tango, is a Boeing 717-200 that first flew in June 2002 with AirTran Airways before being transferred to Delta's fleet in February 2015. Well, I've been delayed enough. Let's go fly a Mad Dog. Thank you. Today, I'll be seated in the way back of the aircraft, settling in seat 26E. For being such a small aircraft, Delta's 717 honestly has pretty decent legroom in main cabin with up to 30 inches of pitch. The tray table folds nicely and slides back and forth, and it's actually a decent size for how small this aircraft is. In the seat back pocket is the safety card, and the air sickness bag. The headrest just slides up and down and is not adjustable sideways. Under the seat are some various charging ports, and above the seat are the typical air vents, reading light, and flight attendant call button. The 717 is the only mainline aircraft in Delta's fleet without in-flight entertainment, but who really needs it anyway when all the 717 does is short hops around the country? Besides, the real entertainment on this aircraft is in the back rows of the plane where you can sit directly next to the engines. From these seats you don't just hear the engines, you feel them, and that's not even a joke. The 717 is the only aircraft today where it feels like you're inside the engine. Soon enough, we are pushing back from the gate. It's time to experience what this aircraft can deliver with a full power, extremely steep takeoff off Atlanta's runway 9 left. What an insane takeoff that was. The sound back here never gets old. On Delta's 717s, rows 25 and 26 are the best for engine views. Setting any farther forward and you can't see the engine, and the 3 rows behind 26 you'll just be staring at the side of the engine with no view of the sky at all. Delta's Boeing 717-200s can accommodate 110 passengers with 12 seats in first class up front in a 2-2 configuration, 25 seats in comfort class going into the classic DC-9 2-3 configuration, and 73 seats in main cabin also in a 2-3 configuration, adding up to 29 rows of seats in total. I also didn't make a visit to the lavatory since the seatbelt sign was kept on the entire flight. After all, this flight is only around 250 flight miles. After cruising for a short 11 minutes, we began our descent into Destin, arriving into an airport with the largest military base in the world, Eglin Air Force Base, touching down on runway 20.
Destin Fort-Walton. The local time is 2:16. There has been a 1-hour time change. Please make sure when your seatbelt fastened and your carrying on is stowed until this aircraft is parked and fixed. Cabin turns off the seatbelt sign. Please be cautious when you open over admittance. 1 inch response may have shifted during flight. In the next few hours, you may receive an email from Delta. We welcome and revalue your feedback. We ensure responsibility to improve your travel experience. We invite you to download and use the Flight Delta app for future travel needs. When they check in for your flight and make your travel account. I should have placed you take a look around your seat, but you have received on board. If you check the bag, you can leave it at bag claim number 1. If you request a wheelchair assistance, we will let you know as soon as wheelchairs are available in the beverage free to disembark the aircraft. Again, we sincerely apologize for the delay that we've had today. We know it's not what you expect when you fly Delta, and we look forward to the opportunity to make that to you on a future flight. On behalf of Delta, and especially this Innovative trip, we've enjoyed having you on board. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful day. doors right across your alcohol.
Overall, the flight itself was great. The Boeing 717 never disappoints. The delay wasn't great though. We could have easily made it on time if they didn't take our original aircraft to another gate. However, I got a visit to the flight deck afterward and got to sit in the first officer's seat. Thanks again, Delta. Anyway, it's time for me to go and explore Florida. Stay tuned for some Florida plane spotting, including the Blue Angels, some museum tours, and my trip reports back home. Thank you so much for watching my flight on the Mad Dog Boeing 717. Let me know your thoughts on this trip report in the comments below. And with that, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!